Hey guys, John Stevens here again at Working Man Success. If you're looking to work your way up the ladder of success and build the best life you possibly can for you and your family, I come on here every day and talk about the ideas, concepts, attitudes, practical plans that can help you do just that. I believe, as I've said before, that I believe the working man is one of the main cornerstones of America, and I think it is our responsibility to pass down the things that we learn in our life and our career to help the next generation. And that's exactly what I'm doing on this channel, and I hope y'all join in, get in the comments, pass down the stuff y'all have learned, and talk about the ideals that I talk about. So, guys, today I want to talk to you about the law of proximity. And what I mean by proximity is, like, I believe that just what I just said, we have a responsibility to pass down information that will help the next generation and help our kids and help our family and help those that we love. And we have a responsibility to do that. And one of the best things we can do is constantly try to hold higher standards in our own life. And if we can learn how to do that and learn how to hold the highest standards we possibly can, those around us automatically start living a higher standard also, and that's through the law of proximity. Most people kind of conform to whatever situation they're in. And if you're in a situation and you're surrounded by people that have low standards, that doesn't clean up after themselves, that doesn't take life seriously, doesn't take their health seriously, they also fall into that same habit, right? So, like if you grow up in a situation where your parents doesn't take like a career serious, or they have a situation where they're not really good to the kids, the tendency for the kid to fall into that same trap is almost like 80-90%. Now some people step out of that and they learn from that and they choose to live a higher standard in spite of that, and that's very, very noble. But what can we do today that will help our loved ones and our kids and everybody we're around live better? And the best thing we can do is hold the highest standard we possibly can. And through the proximity of them being around us for a certain amount of time, they see how we live. And some of that rubs off on them, which gives them a better chance of living a great life and working their way up the ladder of success and being healthy and all that good stuff, right? So how you live impacts everybody that you're around on a regular basis. And people think that their life don't matter. What they do only impacts them. The way they act, the way they do things, they do it with the attitude that, well, I ain't hurting nobody else. Who cares what I do? And that is an absolute lazy way to think. Like I said, we have a responsibility for those people that we love, to our spouses, to our kids, to our nieces, to our nephews, to our co-workers, to everybody around us in the community or whatever. If we know how to live good, we should do it. And that way, that shows them that will steadily rub off on them. And I know it don't seem like it sometimes. Sometimes you're doing the best you possibly can and you're wanting the best for those people around you, and they just will not fall in, and it's just like they don't care. But I promise you, over time, that sticks in their head, and eventually it does make a difference in their life. And it may be to the point where you never see it, but they will live a better life down the road because of the standards that you held yourself to. It's the law of proximity. When you get around somebody with high standards and you're constantly around that person and you're seeing how they live and everything kind of goes in line, and they always have a sense about them that they're, like, they enjoy life, they have a sense of calmness about them, They're not always in a chaotic state. And things just seem to kind of flow a little better in their life because of the standards that they live to. Well, that rubs off on them, and they might not even realize it rubs off on them, but they will start living a little better because of the way you presented yourself. And some of them may actually come to you and ask you about, certain things that you do that makes your life better. So, and guys, this ideal that the way we live doesn't impact anybody else is exactly why we are where we are today in America. Our schools has taught kids every year. It seems like we're turning out a generation that has lower standards than the generation before, and it's this concept that everybody is their own person and everybody lives their own life, and everybody it doesn't matter what they do because it doesn't impact anybody else. And that is complete shit. Like, we have to hold ourselves to the highest standard we possibly can if we ever want this country to get better. I don't know where you are politically, and it doesn't matter. I'm not going to get in politics on this channel, but like, wherever the standard is in the White House and in politics comes from the ground up. We get who we deserve, and like, if we're living in a shitty state of being, and we're not living, if most of America is not holding to a certain standard, we're steadily going to get worse people in the political realm. And it's the same way with bosses in your line of work or in your community. Like, they are products of the culture. They don't dictate the culture. The culture is from the ground up. It's from the bottom up. And if we can change that, like your life, if you touch everybody around you and you rub off on them just a little bit, and they hold a higher standard because of the way they live, everybody that they're around will hold a higher standard. And before you know it, the whole country, as a big picture or in general, has a higher standard. So the more people that hold the higher standard is changing the country. It's changing for the best. It is a cornerstone of this country. If we want this country to keep on prospering, and we want life to be good in this country, we as individuals have to start holding ourselves to a higher standard and try to give an example to our kids, to our nephews, to our nieces, to our co-workers, to anybody we're around, of how high standards impact our life. And that's a responsibility of ours. And I really, really think, it's like the guys on this channel. Most guys that's watching this is probably trying to hold themselves to a higher standard than average. And everybody that's around them is going to see over time the way their life was and the way their life is if they constantly are trying to raise their standards. And that's going to rub off. Like, you don't have any choice. If you hold yourself to a higher standard, your life and your family's life is going to be at a higher level standard. And if you keep on doing that, other people will start holding themselves to a higher standard. And it's just like, if we really and truly love our kids, we love our family, we love America, it's our responsibility. We don't just we have freedom because of the people before us held to a higher standard. We have freedom to live and hold ourselves to a higher standard. And we should do that, because if we don't, we're going to lose the opportunity. And I don't know what else. I could probably ramble on about this forever. I try to keep these videos short, so I'm not going to keep going very long. But just know the standard that you have, the way that you act, the way that you present yourself, the way you go to work and you're at work every day on time, you know, you're providing value, you don't get into a bunch of arguments, and you clean up after yourself, that is a standard. If you have a nasty house, that is a standard. You know, like if you keep your vehicle clean, you take care of yourself. You don't, you know, like you got good hygiene. All of them are standards, and you have standards of the way you eat. You know, like if you're into fitness and you work out, holding yourself to the best standard you possibly can is impacting everybody around you. Not holding yourself to a certain standard, if you just get up every day and just let life go by and you don't give a flying flip about how your life turns out, and you're not steadily trying to produce something good in this world and hold yourself to a higher standard and make your family's life better and make your kids' life better and make your own life better, if you're not steadily trying to do that, everybody around you will fall. You're rubbing off on them in a bad way. So guys, that's all I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say you are important, you have an impact, and it is a responsibility of yours as men to hold yourself to the highest standard you possibly can. And are we going to fail sometimes? Absolutely. Are we going to make mistakes? Yes. You know, we're human, so all that stuff is going to happen. We're going to screw up, but the ideal is the direction. If we're steadily trying to go in upward direction and make ourselves as good as we possibly can, we are making a difference in people's life, whether we realize it or not. So remember that, guys. Hold high standards, make a difference in your loved one's life, and try to do the best you can every single day to raise your standard. All right, guys. If you thought this was valuable, send it to somebody who needs to hear it. Share it, please, and please get in the comments. Let's try to grow this channel, talk about things, try to build a community of high standard people that is going to help everybody that hears it, and everybody that in the next generation, and all your kids and all that. Like, let's just hit the like button, and I'll see you on the next one, guys.